right now I'm exhausted. And I know these first 2 days are going to seem so long, but Saturday and Sunday always fly right by. This happens to us every year.
So fast.
And we haven't even gotten going.
What I did was like sit in a lot of different places.
That was my hard work. I sat all over the place.
Describing what I did, but I was very, very social, which is why I think I'm very tired right now.
Well, let's describe what you did. And welcome everyone to a very special episode of I Love This, You Should Too. My name is Indy, mildly damp Randhawa, and with me is Samantha, brush with greatness Randhawa. Did I say that this is I Love This, You Should Too?
Yes, you did.
All right. Well, it still is. So this is our special episode, live-ish from the Edmonton Folk Music Festival. If you've listened to our other live episodes, you'll say, hey, you actually sound kind of good right now. Why is that? Because it's in Edmonton. I don't know why we never did this. We were just recording at home. But I think as time goes, we're not going to have time at our kitchen studio.
No, because tomorrow and Sunday we will be up early and off, barely awake.
So we are going to go through the entire Edmonton Folk Music Festival. Today is just day one in our world. This episode is going to have it all, though. But let's go through our first day. I went out and got some audio. Sam went out and met all the celebrities.
I did. I had quite the night.
So let's start things off with Thursday. Well, we got to go to the sponsor reception.
We did. Thank you, Rose, my mom.
The Rose Ginther Foundation, brings us to the folk festival.
She supports us in our love of folk festival. We started the sponsor reception, which is always a really fun time. And you knew a lot of people at this reception this year.
Yeah, because you always know the fancy people,
I do.
But the non-fancies who get brought along, that's my time. So
you had like the +1 table.
Yes, that's true. Except for Claire. I know Claire, who actually does good work there.
Hi, Claire.
Hey, Claire.
Sorry, it takes me a second to remember who you are every single year.
That's fair. There's so many people that you see only at the festival. And I'm going to start off with Samantha's whole I love Folk Fest. I love every single person there has taken a while for me to get into because I'm, in the grand scheme of people, I'm very social. Mm-hmm. But compared to you, not so much. But I am getting there. I'm getting on this whole like built community that they have. And I'm seeing how it is beneficial for so many people. So I'm getting on board with that. So
I'm so happy to hear that.
Now I can go to the sponsor receptions and things and chat with people and share stories and have a good time. When usually sponsor type things, that's kind of not my area. I kind of like talking about the music and that part of it more, but we're going to get there. But I think for today, that is the Thursday of the festival, I think this is a Sam episode. So what did we see first?
This was my ultimate folk fest day, and I had so many friends there. Friend of the show Kimberly was there. Rose and Eric were there. It was just it was a party. But we started off with seeing Aysanabee, who I got to chat with backstage after the show a couple times, and we took a photo together, which was very cool. He played a set of a mixture of older stuff and newer stuff. is always amazing to see him. He sang "We Were Here" right at the end of the set, and he told me backstage that they often don't make it to that point in the set list because their set list is a little bit longer, and they tend to run over, and he talks a little bit, and so they don't always make it there. And I was like, I'm so happy that you made it there because I cry every time you play it. And he's like, that means so much to me.
And he did "We Were Here" in a kind of, not unplugged because it's a big concert,
it's
but
a
more acoustic version
Yes.
than normal, and that was great.
Oh my God. It like shivers, sent shivers down my spine. It was so beautiful.
Absolutely. I think that's what I said going into this one is he's the artist to most likely give you goosebumps or make you cry, and probably both. And it happened. It happens again.
Success.
And I wonder if over all of the festivals, he is going to be my someone who is the most representative of this festival to me.
Yeah.
Because I've seen him so many times. His sound seems built for that place.
It's so outdoorsy.
Last year, we saw him on a side stage, and I think our review was, he's a main stage act.
Oh, we were like, no, we need to get this guy on main stage because
And now
he's
he
amazing.
is, and of course he is. It seems just so appropriate. I have so much less to say because it's just, yes, this is exactly what I expected, and it's great to see other people seeing it too.
Mm-hmm. And he is the proud recipient of one of Indy's buttons that he made with Aysanabee on it. So I was like very excited to give that to him, and I helped him pin it on his jacket. And then we took a picture together. So you may see that picture on our social media at some point.
Put it up today.
I will. So then we saw my next pick of the festival, Serena Ryder, who I saw very early on in her career, probably in the early 2000s, play the Hill as well. And I started out at the sponsor reception speaking with Terry Wickham, the head of Edmonton Folk Fest. And a couple years ago, I beaded him a lanyard as a thank you for letting both of us come to the festival and be guests. And he said, I was talking to Serena Ryder today, and she wanted to know where I got my lanyard from. And I screamed internally for the rest of the conversation. And so I did get to meet her, and she did sign my CDs. And she played a set also of a lot of older stuff and a lot of newer stuff.
You guys hearing all right? All right. Your love is like an ocean that always takes me home. Whispering wind is blowing, setting me alone. Your love is like a river that I am floating down. I've never been a swimmer, 'cause I know that I'll never drown. I know that I'll never drown. The current grows stronger. My heart will never change blue. I'm falling for water. Oh, you never think I knew.
And it was just such a beautiful Folk Fest moment for me. You were on the hill for this.
When hanging out with Samantha, we don't often go up to the hill on the top end, much less this year because of your
I don't think
boot.
I'll be climbing the hill at all this year.
Her ankle is still not good. So I went up, I met some of my pals, Anna and Michelle were there, and then I ran into Kat and Elliot afterwards as well. And I'm not a big Serena Ryder fan, not because I listen and I don't like it, but it's just not someone I was familiar with. But you know who is? Everybody else.
Everybody else, yes.
Because I was sitting there and all my friends were singing along and jamming out, and they had a great time. And it was a great show. It wasn't someone that I could be like, oh, I know these songs and I can sing along. I just sat back and enjoyed, and she put on a great show. And then she brought out Aysanabee as well.
Yes.
So then we got a little double dose, and they did a duet together.
Which was beautiful. I stood and sang along and cried a little bit during their duet, and it was just amazing.
So I don't know that song. Is that a Serena Ryder song?
It's a Serena Ryder song that she wrote with her husband. Yeah, so the Aysanabee sang the husband part, which was kind of cool.
Fun.
Yeah, and he has such an interesting voice, so it really changed the song up a little bit, which was really nice.
I don't want to be shortchanging Aysanabee because it's so great, but you know what? We're going to talk about him throughout this because we're going to go see him in like 2 hours again.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yes. Excellent.
So then the headliner for the evening was Rainbow Kitten Surprise. They are someone that I was a little more familiar with, and they brought a very different energy. Aysanabee was great for the sun still being out and commanding the hill. Mm-hmm. Serena Ryder was that transition, and then Rainbow Kitten Surprise was a full-on, just like a stadium rock concert.
Oh yeah, it was definitely one of the more rocky acts that I've seen at Folk Fest, and they put on a great show. The lights, everything was just amazing.
The lights were. That's a great example for how you can do simple lighting very well. Mm-hmm. That was great, and I was trying to articulate it earlier on the pre-episode, the versatility of the group and of the vocalist Ella Mello, who I didn't know much about before, but now after seeing her and them, maybe it's crystallizing a little bit more in my head because they have this unique song structure, but I think what's unique is they don't have a structure to their songs, or maybe not what we are conventionally used to. And that was something that was always engaging to me. Their songs don't flow in the way regular rock musicians do, nor are her vocals in that way too.
We die low, we all die young. What you gonna die for? What you gonna die from?
She and the band are so versatile, and it's hard to pinpoint,
Yeah.
but they were a great show. I loved it.
I will admit that I did spend most of their set backstage view. Like I could see them, but I definitely was chatting during it. So I'm sorry.
Well, that's all right because I was on the hill rocking out.
Good. Okay.
We got everything covered.
How did the lights look from the hill? Because obviously
Fantastic.
backstage we only get like a quarter of what we can actually see from the hill. So I was
So
interested
good
to know
that I made note of it, which is something that I wouldn't normally do at a folk fest, being like, oh, their lighting is fantastic.
Yeah.
But that was one of the first things we were talking about that up there. I was going to say, we just glossed over so much, but you know what? That's day 1 of 4. That was a half day, really.
Yes.
So much more to come.
Yes. Oh, and I'm so excited to get to the hill and to get to see Aysanabee twice today and have some more backstage adventures.
Let's go.
And through the magic of editing, it is now 2 a.m. on, I guess, Saturday morning. But we are here to recap our day of Friday night. Oh, that is only Friday night.
Only Friday night.
We say this every time.
Every time.
Those first 2 days seem so long, but the rest is going to fly by.
Yep.
How are you feeling right now, though, at the end of the night?
Drunk.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if I'm not coherent. We're at the home studio. I've had 6 beers today. Talked to a lot of people. Got another hug from Aysanabee. I had a great night.
Well, let's start up at the beginning.
We saw the Imagine session. It had Allison Russell, Maddie Diaz, Aysanabee, and Mama Morangi? Am I pronouncing that wrong?
I don't have it in front of me, but I thought it was Mihirangi, maybe.
But yeah, so we saw them play a session called Imagine. And as one would expect in a session called that, they did sing Imagine, which was very cool.
Oh yeah, Allison Russell led that one.
And I had shivers while watching it, which was very cool. I thought that they did some really interesting stuff during that session, and I really enjoyed it. What about you?
It was a lot of fun. It was Mama Mihirangi, and she led everyone in a haka lesson at one point. Mm-hmm. That was real cool. And then just her vocals. Maddie Diaz is someone that we both had been listening to, and I liked hearing more from her.
If time does what it's supposed to, then I won't need to love you anymore. And I'll finally see the sky for all its blue. I'll remember what the clock is ticking for.
Because she has this quality to her that's so direct and vulnerable and literal, and she's opening up there, and I like seeing that. And then the next session, Aysanabee was there again, so we just stuck around because there were some more people that we really liked.
Can't get enough of him.
And again, I'm gonna have another trouble with a name because it's spelled AHI, all capitals. Those are the artist's initials, but I think
It's pronounced I.
just I. He was someone that we only started listening to more recently, and I loved his performance, just the quality of his voice. And he was talking to Aysanabee about like finding this voice in a very literal sense. Like, I didn't used to sing like this. This is the voice that I worked on.
They describe his voice as gravel on silk.
Oh,
Which
that's
I
nice.
think is a very good description of how he sounds. It's lovely to listen to.
You know what goes on the outside. Every day's away, it's about time I found a word to keep me warm. I was wondering, trying to fight through the elements. Time stood still when you first walked in. Take me plans I could never predict. I was empty, lost, trying to
He was a very good pairing with Aysanabee. They don't have similar voices, but they have complementary voices. You can see how if you liked one, you would like the other.
Absolutely.
And in a way, a similar sound. They both do a kind of anthemic folk rock. They do a lot of really inspirational and emotional music that way. And this was called Mentors, so I think they have a bit of a working relationship.
I think so. We
They at least
also
seem like friends.
saw them tonight at the party, and they were hanging out the entire time. So
Oh yeah, yeah.
I
that's
assume
right.
we also saw them backstage in the beer garden, and they were hanging out the entire time. So I assume that they are best friends.
Aysanabee, I don't know how many of his songs we're going to actually play on here, but I could put another one in here.
Hundreds.
Sometimes I'm not a dreamer. Oh my God, what I feel. Do you believe in fate? Just a lead it to the stars. Oh, do you make the choices? Then you'll prove it with the scars.
But what I liked in this particular session, he was talking about that album and how he was saying that his grandfather got some peace despite all of the terrible things that happened to him, knowing that his story is being told by his grandson. That was really cool.
Hearing him talk about his grandfather and hearing his grandfather's voice on main stage last night, it just like gives me chills. Like, it's so magical. And it's such an important piece of reconciliation, I think.
We're going to talk about him a lot.
Constantly.
Because, man, we're fans.
We are fans.
We're not music critics.
No.
We are music fans. We can start using friend of the show for him now, right?
I think Aysanabee is a friend of the show.
Well, then my friend of the day was also in that session.
Right.
We got to see Julianna Riolino, who's someone I'm a big fan of. And
You
was
saw her
exciting to
multiple
see.
times today.
Yeah, so she did a new song, so something that I hadn't heard before.
You know me, and I know you, like a wind song just always passing through. Right through. Right through. Right through. Can I get through to you?
And she also did Lone Ranger and Hark, I think, in the middle. But in Lone Ranger is a song I like a lot, and it's a very it's a driving beat. It's a fast song, but she sang it in a much slower kind of acoustic way. And when she said like, "Oh, what shall I sing next? Maybe I'll sing Lone Ranger," and then I was the only person I was going, "Woo!" Because I
And
like
you're
the
the
song
only
a lot.
guy who clapped, and she called you out.
She like gave me a finger gun, and then later backstage I was in line behind her getting you a beer.
Yeah.
I think that was number 4.
Best husband ever.
So I was getting you a beer, and maybe not best friends like you with Aysanabee. She didn't initiate a hug, but she initiated a handshake and said, "Hey, you're the only guy that clapped during my thing." And I said, "Yeah, I'm a big fan." And I told her that kind of what I just said here, that it was interesting to hear it in a very different way, and it was hard for me to not like stop my feet to where the drum would kick in the regular album version
Because
of
you
the song.
know.
Yeah.
One of her band members also helped me out of a van tonight, which I really appreciated.
Good people all around.
Great people. So I was being backstage.
Well, that's another thing we should talk about, that we
Yeah.
both do Folk Fest differently a lot of the time, and every day quite differently. Like yesterday I was up on the hill, and today was side stages, but Samantha was also working on a project. She was
crocheted. I finished crocheting a cardigan today, and when you're doing something like a craft on the hill, people are like invested in what you're doing. And I talked to a lot of people about my craft, which is really funny. And I was sitting next to this lovely lady from Chile, and she applauded when I cut the strings on my sweater and put it on. She was like so excited because I had like a couple inches on a cuff left on this sweater, and I brought it with me as my warm layer in order to like force me to finish it just in case it was super cold tonight. And I did, and it was perfect, and I was way too hot in it, but it was kind of fun to just like sit and crochet for 3 hours, which is pretty great.
And then the thing I like to do at the festivals, I've started in the last couple of years, is, well, I think you all know if you listen to the show, I get really into the music. And this is kind of the only way I find new music, because I find a lot of music new to me, but I usually start looking backwards because that's, you know, there's so much more time in the past than in the present. So this forces me to listen to new stuff, and I like getting very into it. And it's fun when you get really into someone who maybe doesn't have a big following, and you show up and you're the one guy applauding
You're
for
like,
that song. You're like,
"Yes!"
yeah, I love this song. Like, oh yeah, I am wearing a shirt I made for this very obscure band and stuff like that.
Exactly.
It's a good way to find new music and support new music.
Absolutely.
Support people that don't get a lot of support otherwise. And it's just like a really nice human interaction to have when people look out in this festival in a city maybe they've never been to, and there's like, oh, there's a guy out there singing along with everything because he's a fan, and maybe you have fans all over the place.
Exactly.
Did we talk about Allison Russell?
No. Then we saw Allison Russell. You know what? Sometimes being in a walking boot is worth it because we got to watch her from the front row, which is very cool.
Oh yeah, that's a nice thing that the Edmonton Folk Fest has. There is an accessible seating area, and I got to go along with Samantha and her busted up ankle. And we got very good seats because a lot of people had left by that point for whatever reason. So that was really nice. Allison Russell is another one of those bigger names that I wasn't very familiar with, but she did do that song Super Lover that she recorded with Annie Lennox. I want to say she recorded it with Annie Lennox, but of course
sounds
Annie
right.
Lennox wasn't here, and that was a really powerful one. But then the one night wasn't over just because the hill closed down.
No.
We went to the after party. We didn't stay until the very end because it goes until 4, but we have to get up tomorrow.
But we did eat elusive party pizza.
Yeah, that's something we always talk about.
Legendary party pizza. I feel like if you've listened to a few of these episodes, you know that for many, many years, party pizza was like a myth. And now they've started to bring in more. And it's a lot
Party
easier
pizza
to get.
being just free pizza that is out there.
Yes. And we got some party pizza tonight, and I took many pictures of it because if you don't take pictures of it, it didn't happen. So we saw Wesley at the party.
You know what? I'm going to call a Sam and say, Wesley was a party.
Wesley was a party.
He's fantastic. That's someone who we listen to the music and we're like, oh, this is fun. We'll check
Yeah.
him out. And then you go to the show and you're like, oh, this is...
It was like a total performance. There was dancing. There was different instruments.
This
it was
is one I'm glad we saw at the party.
Yes,
Because I
because-
think it's hard if it's on a main stage or a side stage to get up and dance through the whole thing because most people here don't.
Yeah.
And I don't like being the one that's blocking everyone's view, but
Sure.
I also like to be the one that dances. So it was great to see him here.
It was super fun, and it's always fun to just like see people having fun. I always feel like that makes me feel like I'm having more fun.
Fun by osmosis.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I'm getting sleepy by osmosis.
Me too. I just did a very long blink, and I think I may have fallen asleep for a second. So it might be bedtime.
Yeah, it's after 2. We don't really need to tell you the whole plan. We'll recap tomorrow.
See you
Wait.
tomorrow.
Yeah, see you tomorrow. Well, I figure I have to do some live recording from the site. It's now a very sunny Saturday, not quite morning. Samantha's going to be joining me later, but I got here for the 11 o'clock sessions because I wanted to see one that featured Mary Gauthier, Ken Pomeroy, Jennifer Castle, and Haley Hendricks. This was a pretty great way to start the day. It's pretty sunny and hot, and it was a nice acoustic set. I think the only instruments on stage were a bunch of different acoustic guitars. Oh, and maybe one harmonica as well. So this is the second time we got to see, or at least I got to see Jennifer Castle in the last 12 hours maybe? I don't know. Time doesn't have much meaning anymore. But I'm on hour 1 of what's going to be a 14-hour day of music, so can't complain. Jennifer Castle did that song, my favorite song of hers, Earth Song, but I got some audio from her doing a Bob Dylan cover. It's Walking Down the Line, and Haley Hendricks jumped in on background vocals.
My money comes and goes and rolls and flows out through the holes of the pockets of my clothes. Now Lord, I'm walking down the line, I'm walking down the line, amen. Walking down the line, feet will be flying. Let me tell you about my troubled mind. I see the morning light, see the morning light. Well, it ain't because I'm an early riser. I didn't go to sleep last night. Walking down the line, I'm walking down the line, amen.
So that was Jennifer Castle and Haley Hendricks. But if you've listened to the last episodes, you know that I'm a big Ken Pomeroy fan, so that was the main reason I came to this session. And she was fantastic. She got to do a few songs. She did do Days Getting Darker, which I think is my favorite song she's recorded. But she did one that I wasn't familiar with. If you listen to this podcast, you know we have a very special interest in Indigenous language revitalization and preservation, and she was talking about a project that she worked on and sang a song which was half in Salagi.
So if I get a chance to talk to her later, I need to ask about this album and where I can find it, because apparently it's all different genres of music in indigenous languages. So, well, it's about 12:30 now. Off to the next session, I guess. All right, I think I'm just going to jump in with things every now and then. I don't know, is that a jarring podcast thing? I have to jump in because I just finished seeing Goldie Boutier, but on a side stage. And she did her song The Actress, but in an acoustic version.
Treat me like a boy, tell me toughen up. You can call me the man till you get cut. I'll react like a cat on a hot tin roof. I can laugh on command, I'd be honored to. I'll be waiting in your office just to get my check. You'll be smoking your cigar like it's not valid. Hollywood Boulevard's got a star for me, a Grammy and an Oscar and a Tony, and a Juno and an ECMA. And what other awards do I want to win? Wait, I was thinking one more award. What's the one for writing? No. Anyways, and a big suitcase full of cash and a jumbo jet. I am the actress, and this is a movie. So what you're doing to her, you're not doing to me.
So normally that's a pretty dancey song, so it was great to see it in a different way like that. I'm going to keep on going. I'm going to go meet Samantha for lunch. And in case we haven't mentioned it on this episode, we get to do the volunteer lunch thing, even though we are not volunteering this year. But for volunteers out there, if you want to volunteer for the Folk Fest, you can. You get free tickets to the rest of the festival. You have to work your hours during it, but you don't work the entire time. And you get fancy meals. So go volunteer, and I'll see you after lunch, and Sam will be here. All right, I'm back. I promise Samantha is still part of this podcast. She is just taking an easier day on that ankle of hers. So I've been running around a bit. We both did watch Las Cafeteras, though. This was a fantastic show. That's not a question. It's just I feel like I say that a lot. But they were one of my picks, so I was excited to see them. And still, they are somehow a band that also surprised me the most. I've listened to them a bunch, but this show was so much more, or maybe I was just focusing on certain things in my listening, but it was great. It was bigger and more powerful and more stylish than I had imagined. We always talk about outfits, so far, this might be the most stylish band of the festival. They did all sorts of different things. Maybe one of their bigger cheers was when they said "arrest Trump" and not immigrants. We all liked that. Then they went into so much more variety than I was expecting from them. When they're on stage, they had a little dance platform so they could do percussive dancing. They have choreographed dances together. They were wearing this black and pink. No, everyone had their own outfits, but those were the base colors. They had such a variety of things, from disco protest music. They covered Blowing in the Wind. They got everybody up dancing to some cumbia. Hopefully I got some good audio for when they finished, because they did this medley that started with Not Like Us, went through Crazy in Love, and finished with La Bamba.
Porque somos chicanas de
mash all of that together, people are definitely going to enjoy it, and we did. Like I said earlier, the city has a special love for La Bamba, as if everyone does, but a little more here. After that, I went off to a session that featured Blue Moon Marquee, Cedric Burnside, Monophonics, and the world-famous Taj Mahal. That was a great, more acoustic, bluesy session. This was a good one because when you have people playing, certain types of music lend themselves more to improvising and to jumping in and doing kind of a call and response and riffing on things. So what they were doing worked very well with it. I, of course, have been talking about Monophonics for a while and how much of a fan I am of them. And it was great to see them. I'll see the show, their own show, a little bit later. But everyone was paying a lot of respect to Taj Mahal because you're sharing the stage with a legend like that. So Taj Mahal started things off, and everybody joined in because it was a really collaborative session. So we have vocals from Taj Mahal, Cedric Burnside, and Kelly Finnegan of the Monophonics. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to see Blue Moon Marquee's concert later, but they played Big Black Mamba, which was on our little playlist and something we've been listening to a lot. Was great. People were jumping in on it. I think what I liked best about this session was how collaborative it was. The blues lends itself to that. They were familiar with each other's work or some old standards to a certain degree, so people were jumping in and out of things, and it was a good one. Now I am going to find Samantha and see what's next.
Yeah, I think my nose is just like full of hill dust.
All right, let's get back into it.
Day
well,
3.
Look who I found, ladies and gentlemen. It's the backstage baby herself. It's Samantha Randhawa. She's back.
You dragged me home from the party.
So now it's after 2 a.m. I was doing kind of updates throughout the day, and now I kind of see why that's good, because I can talk about the thing right when it happened. Do you remember what you were doing 12 hours ago when we were in the middle of our day?
Sitting backstage in the shade, drinking a bubbly.
It's been 15 hours since I first...
Woke up?
No.
Oh, since you first podcasted.
Since I podcasted.
Oh,
today.
Man.
So it is Sunday morning, because it's after 2. And we are going to do a little recap. Samantha's going to pretend to remember what she saw today. I will remember some of it, but I don't remember what I recorded. It's been a day. It's been several days. Today has been a great week.
So we went to All We Are Saying and we saw Las Cafeterias, Danielle Ponder, and Wesley. And that was just like a party on the hill.
I was
again.
about to say a party.
People were up dancing. I stared at butts for most of the set. This was such a fun set because it felt like everybody on stage played the whole time.
We were talking after, maybe the single best session we've been to.
Absolutely.
It's definitely up there. It was a memorable one. Sam always used to, not as much anymore, would talk about Folk Fest magic.
That's Folk Fest magic.
What's Folk Fest magic?
Folk Fest magic is when you get to see something that wouldn't have happened if Folk Fest hadn't brought these artists together. And then something clicks in the universe and they just create a magical sound.
Then that is definitely what happened. Because there was that one point where Wesley was doing a song and he had everybody up and dancing exactly as you'd expect. And I'm glad we saw him at the party last night because that's a more appropriate setting almost,
Yeah.
right? Because not everyone in an Edmonton Folk Fest is going to get up and dance, but he had them all up. So then he does his song. Everyone was dancing. And then Danielle Ponder comes out and she says, oh, yeah, I like that riff you're doing. Let's do it again. Slow it down.
But slower,
Slow it down.
yeah.
A little more. And then she sang one of her songs on top of it, but still using Wesley's original riff.
They line them up side by side. Oh, they're gonna parade them around to the bitter streets. Where is the chorus of the life? Well, I'm too damn blind for this. Well, I've been losing. You see, I've been tossing and turning and round. I saw them break a bed. I saw them raise their head and stand on the line. I'm too damn back for this. I know what time it is.
It was so cool.
And then, I don't know all their names, but the man from Las Cafeterias, he came out and rapped over that as well, but it was on the topic and subject that Danielle Ponder's song that she sang
Yeah.
was. So like,
I think it
it
was
truly
Freedom?
was.
Was freedom the theme? I can't remember, but I think it was.
So it truly was everybody putting something in and
Mm-hmm.
creating something, and you watched it happen.
On the spot is always amazing to me.
And everybody got in so organically. I really should have just recorded the entire session, but I didn't because that would be, too long.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to just hear us talk about it, right?
Minute by minute.
Well, let's jump forward then. We saw Goldie Boutier. I had seen her earlier. I was going to say earlier in the week, but I think that might have been today. I don't know.
I think this whole day has been a week.
This day has been a week, but I had seen her just do like an acoustic set. So now she had her full concert.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I talk a lot. What do you think, Sam?
It wasn't my favorite.
No?
No.
Oh, we're finally having something critical.
Sorry.
Oh, let's go.
Didn't love like the composition, and I felt like they relied really heavily on a pre-recorded backing track, and I just feel like that's not like what Folk Fest is about. So I don't know, maybe I'm being a little harsh, but I just like didn't love it as much as everyone else in the audience did. And like, fair, like everyone's gonna be into something at the festival, but like I just didn't jive with it.
You know what she brought? She brought a pop star energy that you don't usually see on
True.
the hill. And you could say that part of that is having more pre-recorded stuff. She's like a dancier act than a lot of the things we see. So she brought a a swagger. She was demanding of your attention. She was up there with her glittery mic. She told the drummer to take his shirt off at one point, and he did. She walked around carrying a purse and then opened it up and put on lipstick, not because she needed it, but because she was so in command that she's like, now you all wait. I'm going to put on some lipstick. And she did do Castle in the Sky, Penthouse in the Sky.
Penthouse in the sky. Cloudy day with a black lace veil that covered my eyes. A holy man held a crucifix where the sinner
That is one of my favorite songs of hers. And I had a good time. I liked it. I was up there dancing with the children, essentially.
The
But I
children.
guess young
It
women.
was the children. It really was. I did feel really old sitting on the hill tonight.
Sometimes.
For parts of it, I
sometimes.
was like, ooh, man, I am elderly in Folk Fest years.
And then we saw Danielle Ponder. This is our, I don't know how many times we've seen her in the last 2 years, but headlining twice now because she was a big part of last year's as well. We had seen her earlier in the day, and I don't know, maybe it's because we are so tired. It is very, very late, but I'm running out of things to say, but more because we've covered it. Danielle Ponder is a voice. She is a big, big, powerful voice. She doesn't command the stage by doing the same sort of things that Goldie Boutier was doing. She does it with her voice. She sings and you stop and you listen.
Well, Lord, if there's smoke, then I'll be water. If there's fire, I'll be rain. I can feel it all come down. I lost myself above the sky. Well, now, tell my mama, tell my daddy, Lord, love is falling from the sky. And I say, la, 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 la,
And then we had our yearly meeting with the Roots,
Right.
which I'm like super okay if this becomes an annual thing. Edmonton was on its feet the entire set.
Is that the only time you've seen a headliner keep people up the entire set?
I think Michael Franti did. I remember seeing him a few times and like everyone was up dancing. I think there's been a few, but it is few and far between.
This is the only one I've seen.
And like I've never seen a Saturday night with so few candles because everybody is dancing too much to have like an open flame in their hand. Like it was crazy to like see so few candles on the hill because everyone was up dancing and it was amazing. They played a shorter set than they did in Calgary last year, but it was still fantastic.
Was it my turn to monologue now?
It's your turn. Let's go.
So I'll try not to repeat myself, but I also don't remember what I said a year ago because it was also after midnight when I recorded that. But if you haven't seen The Roots live, the whole thing is more like a choreographed Broadway show as much as it is a concert, in that it's not like, here's the song, and hey, audience, how's it going out there? Hi, Edmonton, how about the weather? It's not that. They come on, they go for 90 minutes.
Yeah.
And then that's the end.
Yeah.
They don't stop in between. There is the equivalent of two, like, kind of blackouts where it's silent for a second, but they're done for effect.
Yeah. And like the
time they
crowd
do it.
goes crazy when that happens. But yeah, they just like continue on right after.
They go in and out of both full studio songs that they have recorded on the albums, album songs, and solos and different versions of songs and choreographed kind of dancing.
Oh, it's
not
so
like
great.
a big dance like some of those other acts we've seen,
They're
but
just like hopping.
yeah, with all of their instruments.
Yeah. Hopping makes it sound very uncoordinated, but it's coordinated hopping.
And then also the call and response, crowd engagement stuff.
I love it. Go, hey, 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 come on. Make it like this. Hey, 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 louder, come on.
And then sometimes they'll do a song, but they cut out the chorus, so it's just Black Thought spitting, and he'll go like faster than he normally does because they're changing up their songs as well. I was talking a long time ago about how back in the early 90s.
In my day.
Yeah, they used to do this thing called I'm Every MC, where Black Thought would do different impressions of different rappers. He raps in their styles. And what they've done is essentially take that idea and expand it to music itself, because he will still go through and do other people's styles, do his own songs in different cadences, which makes it kind of tricky when you're singing along, because sometimes they'll change up the time signature.
I'm the finalist, shining like the rugged amethyst. And at your music conference, I am the panelist. Listen close to my poetry and examine it like an analyst. See if you can handle it, y'all. You got to move, MCs.
And how I know it from the album, I can't sing along anymore because it's been switched. But he's doing that. But then also the band is going in and out of different songs and genres, and
It's a musical journey.
yeah, they go from jungle boogie, and then they do the next movement, and then that blended right into, I never remember what the song's actually called. Is it called Love of My Life? Is it called Hip Hop? But the one that goes Hip Hop, You're the Love of My Life, which is a great song.
We sang that one.
And they start off with just the horns of that. And if you know the song, you hear that little horn riff, and you're like, oh, here it comes. But then, to that tune, they did 3 other kind of half songs in the middle. And then he called like a pause, and everyone stopped. And he went, just joking, because he knows those people who heard those horns were waiting for the song. So then he
Right.
goes, okay, here it is. So he teases a song based on like little audio cues. This is kind of the equivalent of like a novel that's full of references that those nerds like me will sit and parse out and like, oh, this is from that, this is from that, this is from that. They do that in a live show. I was joking to people that, oh, you're going to love the sousaphone solo.
Yeah.
And people thought I was joking. And I said, no, it really is. And he had the big sousaphone solo. But then it turned into a cover of Seven Nation Army. And then there was a keytar out. And we could just spend so much time talking about Captain Kirk's guitar solo. That was a 10-minute production in itself.
Oh, that was like a retrospective as well. That was just like a whole bunch of different things.
Because it starts in You Got Me.
We knew from the start, and things fall apart, they tend to shatter. She said that shit didn't matter. When I get home, get at her. You let her phone on whatever. Let's link, let's get together. You think not, like I went home and forgot. Time passed, be back and feeling like she up in my spot. Telling me the things I tell her, was making her hot. Started building with her constantly, round the clock. Now she in my world like getting hot, and keep telling me.
then he starts playing a kind of a riff that's a play on the lyrics of You Got Me, and it's a really kind of quiet and precise guitar solo. But then he starts running over, he does some Ghetto Boys, he does some Bob Marley, he does some Outkast, he does Sound of Music, all just in this guitar solo, essentially. Other instruments came out in and out a little bit, but it was his time to shine. And then he eventually comes all the way back, and he starts doing like Immigrant Song from Zeppelin by this point. And
Mom
then
was very excited about that.
Oh, who wouldn't be? And then it gets into a kind of almost a heavy, not quite metal, but a heavy rock version of You Got Me. Because then you remember, like, oh yeah, remember 12 minutes ago where the solo started from You Got Me? We're coming all the way back now. And that was just one of the sections of this 90-minute show.
It was crazy. It was so all over the place in such a good way. And it was like really nice to see the Edmonton crowd, which we've talked about before. Edmonton is not like a dancey people, right?
No, we are not.
But it was incredible to see every single person up. So great to like be dancing with everyone on the hill.
Yeah.
It's such a like unified thing. It's such a cool feeling.
Yeah, and it felt great for me personally because a lot of people, like I had that moment with a guy in the record shop, and when I was saying like, oh, I wish they had the first Roots album on vinyl, and he says, here it is, and it was Things Fall Apart. I said, no, that's like the fourth one. And
Indy
I was
gave
like,
a
listen,
lesson in the
no,
music
it's-
and merch.
But I don't feel like, hey, I know this band, so like it's special for me. I feel like I know this band, and it's so cool to see everybody figuring out what I figured out earlier.
Yeah.
It's like, now you get it.
It's very cool.
Now you get
it's
it.
very, very cool. And like, yeah, wow, what a spectacle.
They've created one of the greatest, like, it's the best show I've seen.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And I was so excited to get to see it again this year. Folk Fest magic.
What a show.
I think we should probably go to bed.
But we then went to the party.
Oh my God, the party.
And saw Las Cafeteras again. But at the parties, we can't bring in stuff, so I don't have audio for you on that. But I think we saw them 3 times in the last 12 hours.
And
so.
they played La Bamba each time we saw them.
Sure.
They played it like a little bit different each time, which I'm
Yeah.
like, that's amazing. That's so cool that they can like change it up like that. And like, they were just a party each time we saw them.
What a party.
What a party. And my mom and Eric came to the party. I've been begging my mom for years to come to the party. She came for like one drink.
And a special shout out to the Blackburn brothers who were playing, and we couldn't stay for the whole thing. But I met some of the members of the band, and they were so nice. So maybe we can see them and record some stuff of theirs tomorrow. I don't even know what the schedule it is, but you know what I do know?
What?
Is it's jam-packed. It's approaching 3 a.m. We have to be at the Hill at 11. So maybe we should start getting to bed.
I think it's bedtime.
Well, welcome back to another, it's the last day of Folk Fest. Sunday morning, we got here bright and early for I feel like I said this just recently, but a fantastic session. It was 2 people that I was very excited to see, and I've already talked about so much in Ken Pomeroy and Julianna Riolino, but then also 2 other groups made Fans for Life in Martin Joseph and Mama Miherengi, and her backup has a name that I don't remember. Apologies.
I cannot remember either, but they were fantastic. It was like a really interesting indigenous like moment, which I was not expecting from this one. And I got to do a little I don't know what it's called, but it was kind of dancing, but I was sitting.
Yeah, Mama Miherengi first did this one song where she was talking about genealogy of the stars and of the creator, and she also mentioned that in her contract, wherever she plays, she meets with indigenous leaders of that area, and they were there too. I don't know if this is the Folk Fest magic that Samantha always talks about, if it is sleep deprivation, if it's all this great music and people having really a common goal and aim, or maybe Folk Fest magic was the strain that I was smoking. I don't know. But either way, now it's to the point where, when will I cry today?
I may have already gotten there.
Yeah, it's not an if anymore, and now it's like, oh, it's 11 a.m. is when it starts?
Yeah.
All right.
11 a.m. was when I cried. It was like just a really beautiful little session. I was expecting it to be more folky, more like rocky, bluesy, like that, and it ended up being this like really beautiful celebration of Indigenous people. And they Mama Meharangi honored someone who I'm actually related to, Ekti Margaret Cardinal, and so that was very, very cool. And yeah, it was just lovely.
And she was talking about this one instrument that they played that's traditionally made with a human arm bone, but she was gifted an eagle bone from here in Alberta and turned that into the instrument and did a song with that. And the dancers dance with this, I don't know what it's called or even how to describe it, but it's kind of a pom-pom on a string.
It was like a styrofoam ball wrapped in string.
And they brought different people up, and Samantha got to dance.
Yeah, and even though I couldn't like get on my feet like everyone else, I still got to do it, and it was very cool to get to experience a different Indigenous culture.
And Julianna Riolino and Ken Pomeroy, you probably don't need me to talk about more since I have a lot already. But this time Julianna Riolino she still had the acoustic guitar, but she had a bit of a band with her too. So she was a bit more rocky than yesterday's session, but I think the concert later will be even more so. She played some favorites. She did Archangel, and it was another time where she did thanks to the one guy clapping because I know that one. But she also did Houses, an Elise Weinberg cover that I wasn't familiar with.
She was fantastic, and she just like really commanded the audience. Everyone was like kind of rapt watching her. So yeah, that was a very cool thing to see, and for Indy to be her biggest fan in the crowd again.
And speaking of biggest fans, I'm also a very big Ken Pomeroy fan. I've played her here before, so I'm not sure if I'll play more of Days Getting Darker, which is my favorite song of hers that she performed. But she also, kind of fitting in on what a lot of people were talking about at this session, she did a Woody Guthrie cover, and she played Deportees.
They're flying you back to the Mexican border. Take all your money and way back again. My father's own father, he waded that river. He took all the money he made in his life. My brothers and sisters, they work in your orchard. They rode the big truck till they laid down and died.
Yeah, I'm not super familiar with Woody Guthrie, but everything that she did was just amazing.
But you've been coming to Folk Fest for many years, so I think you are familiar and you didn't even know it.
Probably, yeah. Actually, that is very true. I'm sure I know quite a few Woody Guthrie songs.
And Martin Joseph we haven't talked about, and he was someone that I wasn't familiar with. And I think it's got to be kind of tough when you are an older white European man, you're sharing the stage with all younger women, many of them indigenous, and they're singing about their heritage. And Martin Joseph, what does he do? Just goes out and turns out he's like the greatest ally ever. So he, I think, is what Western contemporary folk music should be. He plays progressive protest music for the people. He talked about his charity work that he does, and that was someone who I didn't know what to expect, and ended up really enjoying a lot of his music.
Of the bitter words, the broken breath, where there is hope, there is no death. Beneath us now lies sleeping coal, but I got fire in my soul, 'cause a dragon came here once, and he shone like ebony. And mountain ash beneath, he gave us dignity. And a dragon came here once, and back home you cursed his name. You tried to quench the fire of this David and Goliath.
Yeah, he talked about coming to Alberta previously and playing music at a community center in one of the reserves, I'm not sure where. And he was named, and he said, I've never shared my name because I didn't feel that it was my place to. And so he shared his name, and that was very cool. And he got a big round of applause for that. And I think he's a good example of what supporting Indigenous people is.
And just supporting the people whose voices maybe are not heard as much in all sorts of ways. So Martin Joseph also just made a fan for life. So there you go. Off to a great start. We only have about 15 more hours in this day, so let's go. All right, so still Sunday afternoon. Let's do some quick updates. So I went and saw Monophonics. That was a tough one because I had to not see something else, but sad I missed other stuff, but very happy that I saw that, because I think the more I age, the more I realize that maybe just old classic soul music is my favorite music. And that's what Monophonics deliver. There's so many things I can choose from to put in here, but of their newer stuff, they played Sage Motel.
She kept me in the days for some weeks, down at the Sage Motel, who worked every day and every night. She's something like addicted when I do the things she likes, and I know that she can take it. She's the type who gives it back that she can't help. I mean, every single night, you and me, look what you're doing to me, making me fall in love deeper and deeper and deeper. Show what you're feeling with me. Now tell me that it's all you'll ever need at the Sage Motel.
I don't get a lot of opportunity to see music like this live, especially people who are so clearly kind of steeped in the history. They've very much done their homework, and I think like to show that too. They played some deep cut covers to go along with it. I also saw them in a session, and in the session they didn't play their own stuff, but rather what they would do is kind of orchestrate. They said that there are so many great musicians here. Who are they to kind of take over the stage? So they always made sure to share it. And Kelly Finnegan, who is the lead singer of Monophonics, is the ideal person to do one of those, I think, because he didn't exactly like take charge or anything, but he was someone who really orchestrated everybody else on stage, all of these four bands who hadn't met each other before, and that was Sensational Barnes Brothers, Marcus Trummer, and AV and the Inner City. And when the Monophonics kind of had the mic, Kelly Finnegan got to do his best kind of James Brown, not only playing James Brown, but then orchestrating things. Like sometimes he would start with just drummer, give me a beat, and the drummer would start something. He would choose a key, tell guitars when to come in, and all sorts of other instruments. So he was almost a conductor out there, and they were just creating new songs as they went, which was pretty fantastic when there's something like 20 people on stage. And he would still leave room for everyone to kind of to shine, do their solos, that sort of thing. The sensational Barnes Brothers brought kind of exactly what I expected and hoped from them with that gospely soul sound.
Ain't nothing wrong, yeah. Being in love with someone, yeah. Oh, baby, love and happiness. Love and happiness.
Which was perfect for a Sunday morning because, oh yeah, it's not even that late yet. Marcus Trummer was someone that I wasn't familiar with, and he's this great young blues musician out of Calgary, and it's nice to see someone kind of doing this kind of music that isn't played as much in a younger generation maybe, but he's keeping it alive here in Alberta. And then of course AV and the Inner City, speaking of local talent, were fantastic. That's a group that I recommend if you just love great vocalists showing what they can do, because that's what they did in this session as well.
Sing the darkness. Sing the lost. Sing the wisdom. All the cause. But remember blessings. Even as they go, low and lowly.
If you can hear behind me, you might hear Ken Pomeroy doing sound check, so I need to go and see that concert. All right, let's have another mini update. I thought I was far away from the closest act, but I'm sure you can still hear all of that. So I just finished up watching Ken Pomeroy, and I probably said the same things a few different times on this one already. But still having a full concert this time was nice. I might have already played Days Getting Darker, but if not, here it is now.
Send me back to where I was before I knew how this felt. Take me for what I am. No more the devil's hiding in the Bible Belt. The devil's hiding in the Bible Belt.
That's probably my favorite song of hers. It's kind of beautiful and haunting. Unfortunately, a lot of it wasn't the best just because you could hear them doing sound check on main stage from the little side stage we were at, and because Ken Pomeroy is it's quieter music, it kind of got overwhelmed a couple of times. I also learned that the song Rango is about her dog. I've heard that one a few times, and it's a great song. I, just by how it sounded, assumed it was something tragic, and now you listen to it and you're like, oh, it's about a naughty dog. This is a beautiful, touching song that is about a naughty dog. I also got the opportunity to talk to Dakota McDaniel, who plays guitar with Ken Pomeroy, and there's the two guitars on the album. The album's called Cruel Joke, and there's the two guitars, and he produced as well. It's been raining on and off, and let's see what happens next.
All right, we're jumping back in and continuing Sunday evening. It was raining when I last left you, and that kept going. But now at least things sound better for you because we're back in the studio.
We're home.
I like calling this the studio when we are very literally at our kitchen table.
Yep.
When I last left you, I was heading over to the Julianna Riolino concert to see her for the third time in this weekend. And it started out and was great. We got 2 songs in. I got to sit right up in the front. And then the rain started. Well, it was already raining.
Yes.
But then the lightning started.
And everything shut down.
Where were you at this point?
I was backstage. I could see the rain coming, and we got alerts saying that they were like watching the storm, basically.
So there was a good 20 minutes or so when they had to shut down, and she and her band were just kind of waiting backstage. So I hung out, and the concert did start back up, and it was great, like I was expecting and hoping for. She switched out from the classical to her electric Rickenbacker, and because of that, and she had the full band with her, it was a much heavier, it was a rock and roll show. Mm-hmm. And she was a true rock and roll front woman, and did a bunch of songs that I really liked, from Hark and Seed. Seed's one of the newer ones, and that was really good. But I had a lot of audio issues at this point. My recorder, the batteries were running out, so I got portions of songs, so I'm not sure what you're going to hear. But you know what? Future Indy, you edit it in right now because you'll be listening to it. So here is some of Seed. And when I was talking to her in the beer lineup the one day, she said, like, well, if I ask, what should I play next, then you're allowed to say something. And I did say, Be My Man, and she did not play it. But then the bass player gave me a little like, well, maybe. And because it was what they finished with, because they did it. Oh, and she went into a Fleetwood Mac song in the middle of Be My Man.
That was very cool.
Because when I got up and dancing for the final song, which is probably my favorite song of hers, of course, Against the Grain is very big and popular right now. I think she hates it.
Really?
I think she doesn't like it.
Interesting.
Because that was the song that other people knew, and she wouldn't play it. A small child asked, and then she sang the chorus once.
Oh.
And then moved on. And when I was talking with her, talking about how she was asking, oh, what should I play next? And I said, oh, I wanted to suggest things, but like I don't want to yell out at shows.
Right.
And she said, what would you have suggested? And I said, Lone Ranger, Be My Man, or Against the Grain. And she goes, everyone wants to hear Against the Grain. So it seems like she's like kind of sick of it.
She's over it.
Yeah.
She's moved on from Against the Grain. And so she's like, everyone else needs to move on.
I also learned that it was from a commercial, so it got very popular. But I only know because like the releases from Spotify or from CDs, because that's how I consume media. So I didn't know that it was so big out in the outside world, but apparently it is.
That's funny that she gained commercial success that way.
Literally commercial
Success.
And now I think maybe is not a fan of it. But either way, it is a very good song.
It is a very good song.
Regardless of how it came into the world, it's very good. Oh yeah, so then you joined when I was up for the last song and got to see the Be My Man, and she plays it with a Fleetwood Mac song, and so like everyone sing along, but I knew the words to Be My Man, but not the Fleetwood Mac song. Which song was it?
I feel like if I Google Fleetwood Mac, it'll come up. She was playing Dreams.
Right, of course.
Yes.
Yeah. So my third time seeing Julianna Riolino, I feel like I don't need to talk about her anymore, but it was very good. Go check her out. And then it was time for Main Stage Sunday night.
Woo-woo!
And that is the feel, but not quite for
this year.
You and me. Me, because like, honestly, my midday lineup of Monophonics, Ken Pomeroy, Julianna Riolino, that was my main stage.
Yes.
That was three headliners of my concert, of my festival. So I was already all set. But we did see a little bit of John Butler.
Yes.
He brought a big sound that filled up the stadium, the hill.
Yeah. And he had people kind of nodding their heads on their tarps. Like people were into it. So that's good.
I feel like we're selling him short. People were very big fans of his. I just was less familiar. That's how maybe everyone else felt about Ken Pomeroy and the Monophonics, but I just didn't know John Butler.
Yeah, what I heard sounded great. It was also a little rainy. And so we did spend a little bit more time in the green room, I think, than we normally would on a Sunday night.
And I was exhausted. It's not like it's hard going to see music, but I pretty much was listening to music the entire time the festival was open.
Yes.
And by this point, I was just kind of like, I saw the things that I was so excited for that I was just kind of coasting through to the end.
We were kind of just waiting for the end.
And you were kind of coasting on the Sunday, which...
I didn't feel great, and I think it's because I was so tired. I honestly was going to go see all the music with you, and I said, I think I just need to be, like, in the green room crocheting and, like, just taking a little power downtime. And I felt so much better after that, but I felt a little bad.
But I think we talk about doing the Folk Fest your way, and rest is part of it. So that brings us to the end of Sunday night and the headliner, which a lot of people were very excited for, and that was Mount Joy.
Yeah, I listened to like a bunch of their stuff before the festival. I can't say that I was like the most excited about seeing them, but they put on a good show and it was kind of fun. Sometimes it's fun to watch The Hill during an act that a lot of people are really excited for because
they love it.
And there's something really like wonderful about seeing like 20,000 people just like so excited about something. Very cool. There were people with like signs in the front row and like it was like an actual like rock concert, which was very cool.
I feel like this was the show that most people were singing along to. People know Mount Joy. While the roots are very big, and I knew the words to a lot of it, I feel like most people don't know the words to a lot of what they were doing. Mount Joy brought a lot of people in that were fans of them and put on a great show for them. And they also brought out Jesse Wells, who I kept missing because there's so many great things to see. So I was very excited that I got to see him do a little bit here. And I wasn't expecting Mount Joy and Jesse Wells to do Have You Ever Seen the Rain?
Right?
But they did. I assume they played Have You Ever Seen the Rain because it was so rainy. It was raining during this whole show as well.
Yes,
Most
it was.
of it.
It was.
And Have You Ever Seen the Rain is my favorite CCR song that is a question about weather.
Yeah.
They have multiples.
We say this so often, but like, it's not a folk fest until somebody has sung something CCR somewhere on the hill.
They also did some kind of mashup covers. There was one that went through like Bill Withers and CeeLo, and then someone else who I didn't know, but people who were much younger than me knew and got excited for. So they put on a great show, and then that's it.
Yeah.
But not for us, because we had a party to get to.
Oh man, did we have a party to get to.
So I was able to miss Jupiter and Oak West earlier to see something else, knowing that I would be able to see them at the party. And for a band like that, that's where you want to see them.
Yes, absolutely. And everyone was up. It was amazing.
So that was when we were exhausted, of course.
God.
We got in and Samantha was trying to rest as much as she could and said, I'm going to grab a table over there. And I said, okay, I'll just walk through the crowd and I'll meet you. And then I just stayed and danced.
That's my
because
favorite dance move.
They were great. This is another one where I wish I had audio of it, but these are private parties,
Yes.
technically.
These are
So,
a safe space for artists to kind of like let loose.
again, if you want to volunteer for the festival, you get access to these parties. And hey, volunteers, go to the parties. So many people don't.
I know. It's so crazy. It's a common thing to talk about when you're like out on the site and stuff. And it's like, oh, do you go to the parties? And oh, were you at the party last night? And I'm always shocked when people are like, no, I've never been to a party. I've been volunteering for 15 years and I've never been to a party. And I'm like, you have to go at least once just to see what it's all about. I feel like in the last couple of years, we've really figured out how to do it for us.
Yeah. You've been seeing more and more music every year.
I have. And I think it's really easy to fall into like the social part of Folk Fest and kind of forget that there's like a whole music part of Folk Fest. And yeah, so you brought me back to music, which is fun.
We also saw a little bit of Jesse Roper was playing a concert.
Right.
And I guess there's a good reason these people are booked for the party because he brought the party too.
It's
And
crazy.
apologies that we left 3 songs in, but we were there since 11. This was, I don't know, 2:30 in the morning. Maybe it was only like 2. We actually got home earlier.
I think it was just about 2 when we left. But yeah, I could feel myself descending into I need to be horizontal or something bad's going to happen.
And then we went home and I couldn't sleep.
You couldn't sleep, which is wild to me because we were so tired.
Me too. But that's maybe another tip for people. We are always talking more and more about how different people get affected by certain things. Having that much going on takes me a long time to kind of like come down.
To wind down, yeah. Yeah, I tend to just like shut off.
You were already unwound.
I was totally unwound. I was unwinding at the party, like quickly unraveling. But yeah, so I got home and definitely got ready for bed as quickly as I could because I just could feel it. I was going to be asleep where I was standing at very soon.
So I guess that wraps up our 2025 Edmonton Folk Fest episode. But before we go, what were the highlights? Can you remember back to what seems like 3 weeks ago, but was 4 days?
Serena Ryder. Thursday night, just like all of Thursday night was amazing. It always feels like the first day of school, and so you're really excited and you have energy. I think that was my highlight of the festival, which is, it seems silly because I'm like, well, there was 3 more days of festival, but it was what I was most excited about. You said that your Sunday afternoon was like your main stage. I think Thursday main stage was my main stage because that sounds silly when you say it, but just because those were the artists that I was so excited to see. And so I think I peaked on Thursday, but I had a really great time for the rest of the weekend.
Thursday was definitely up there for me. It seems so long ago.
Mm-hmm. It really does.
Thursday was great because it's a little different than what I often do, because I wasn't sitting with you. You were backstage.
I was.
I went and sat up on the hill with some friends, and I loved that. Maybe that's my social aspect of it. Watching something with friends and being like, that was great, wasn't it?
Yes.
So that was one of them, because that was 3 great shows.
Oh, incredible.
Aysanabee, we talk about so much, and it feels like we haven't talked about him in the last week. But that was just...
Which is crazy because
so recently.
I talked to him both days that he was there backstage, and I just like, I love him. He's so nice and so generous, and I can't say enough great things about him and Serena Ryder, but I definitely was so excited to see him, and he seemed to enjoy the festival. I don't know, maybe he can tell us if he enjoyed it, but...
If people like you, you probably enjoy it a little more.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
everybody loved him. And Rainbow Kitten Surprise was big too. Speaking of bands who had a big following who were there that were singing along, I'd say Rainbow Kitten Surprise.
Yeah, that
right
was
up
a
there,
big
too.
one for sure.
They're bringing in the young kids.
Yeah, well, they have to.
Because they always talk about us being young people at that festival. And
Yeah.
we are in our late 30s, early 40s.
Yeah.
So we shouldn't be the young people.
I don't think you're still a young person if you've been going for 30 plus years.
So I think my highlights were Thursday, that my mini main stage of the back-to-back-to-back Monophonics, Ken Pomeroy, Julianna Riolino, all 3 very different acts, and I really enjoyed all of them. But no surprise, my highlight for once overlaps with many people's highlight, and that was the Roots show.
The Roots were incredible. Yeah.
I will talk to you at length if you want to, but I probably have already. Well, there is one final tradition that they wind down every folk fest with.
Yes. We all get together, you put your arms around your loved ones, and you sing Four Strong
random
Winds.
strangers.
Or random strangers. I've also hugged random strangers during Four Strong Winds. But it's like the closing hymn of Folk Fest. And this year it was led by Mary Gauthier. It's always lovely to kind of cap off the weekend with that and to get to see some of the volunteers come out on stage and just to see everyone like hugging their loved ones and swaying back and forth. And then to go home and be sad about Folk Fest being over for another year. But another year in the books.
And we hope to go again next year. We're going to apply to be media, so maybe they're listening to this right now.
I hope so. Hi, we'd
Let
love to
us
cover.
come on over. Let's roll out just like the Folk Fest does with this year's version of Four Strong Winds. And until next year, see you on the hill.
See you on the hill. My heart's always on the hill, but we'll see you next year.
You're 2 steps away from getting a tattoo. This is that.
Yeah, probably.
Here we go, everybody. Strong wind.